HSBC Group Chief Executive Stuart Gulliver said in a statement, quote, "We accept responsibility for our past mistakes. We've said we're profoundly sorry for them." He added the bank had, quote, "taken extensive and concerted steps to put in place the highest standards for the future." News of HSBC's fine comes as 3 low-level traders were arrested in London as part of an international investigation into 16 international banks accused of rigging a key global interest rate used in contracts worth trillions of dollars. The London Interbank Offered Rate, known as LIBOR, is the average interest rate at which banks can borrow from each other. Some analysts say it defines the cost of money. The benchmark rate sets the borrowing costs of everything from mortgages to student loans to credit card accounts. Well, for more on the latest bank scandals, we're joined by Matt Taibbi, contributing editor for Rolling Stone magazine. His latest book is Griftopia, a story of bankers, politicians, and the most audacious power grab in American history. Now, how did Forbes put it, Matt? What's a bank got to do to get into some real trouble around here?
Exactly, and what's amazing about that is that's Forbes saying that. I mean, universally, the reaction, even among the financial press, which is normally very bank-friendly and gives all these guys the benefit of the doubt, the reaction is what do you have to do to get a criminal indictment? What HSBC has now admitted to is more or less the worst behavior that a bank can possibly be guilty of. They violated the Trading with the Enemy Act, the Bank Secrecy Act, and we're talking about massive amounts of money. It was $9 billion that they failed to supervise properly. These crimes were so obvious that apparently the cartels in Mexico specifically designed boxes to put cash in so that they would fit through the windows of HSBC teller windows. So it was so out in the open, these crimes, and there's going to be no criminal prosecution whatsoever, which is incredible.
And emails found where bank officials were instructing officials in Iran and in some other countries how best to hide their efforts to move money into their system?
Exactly, yeah, and that's true at HSBC, and apparently we have a very similar scandal involving another British bank, Standard Chartered, which also paid an enormous fine recently for laundering money through Iran. This again comes in the heels of the LIBOR scandal, which has already caught up 2 major British banks, the Royal Bank of Scotland and Barclays. So you have essentially all of the major British banks now are inveigled in these enormous scandals. We have a couple of arrests today involving low-level people in the LIBOR thing, but it doesn't look like any major players are going to be indicted criminally for any of this.
And this whole argument that the bank is too big to indict because of the threat to the world financial system. Most people don't know that HSBC stands for Hong Kong and Shanghai Banking Corporation. It's a British bank that goes back to the early days of British colonialism in Asia. Is it too big to be indicted?
The amazing thing about that rationale is that it's exactly the opposite of the truth. What the message that this sends to everybody when banks commit crimes and nobody is punished for it is that you can do it again. If there's no criminal penalty for committing even the most obvious kinds of crimes, that tells everybody, investors all over the world, that the banking system is inherently unsafe. And so the message is this is not a move to preserve the banking system at all. In fact, it's incredibly destructive. It undermines the entire world confidence in the banking system. It's an incredible decision that, again, is met with surprise even by people in the financial community. I was in court yesterday in criminal court in Brooklyn. I saw somebody who come into court who had just spent an overnight in jail for walking from one subway car to another in front of a policeman. You can do real time in jail in America for all kinds of ridiculous offenses, for taking up 2 subway seats in New York City. If you fall asleep in the subway, people go to jail for that all the time in this country. For having a marijuana stem in your pocket, there are 50,000 marijuana possession cases in New York City alone every year. And here we have a bank that laundered $800 million of drug money, and they can't find a way to put anybody in jail for that. That sends an incredible message, not just to the financial sector, but to everybody. It's an obvious, clear double standard where one set of people gets to break the rules as much as they want, and another set of people can't break any rules at all without going to jail. And I just don't see how they don't see this problem.